Indiana Pacers, first game win in Madison Square Garden. Now, the odds say that the situation they were in multiple times, the game was over. New York Knicks fans outside of Madison Square Garden were saying that they were going to sweep the Pacers late in the fourth quarter. Actually, let's go to down 17 with 6 minutes and 12 seconds left. 111-94 in the Mecca, Madison Square Garden. There's no way this Pacers team's able to do that. Nemhard, 18-foot step back. How you doing? Keep it moving. Pascal Siakam, and then it became the Neesmith show. Aaron Neesmith, shooter out of Vandy. This dude won ape shit at the end of the fourth quarter. Obviously, Tyrese Halliburton's going to do his thing. He's going to be a facilitator. He's going to knock down shots. But Neesmith goes 5 of 6 late in the fourth quarter, goes absolutely unconscious. That one right there from 3 foot beyond the arc. Then that one off balance. Bang, bang. How you doing? Keep it moving. Tyrese. Game winner. Jim Irsay grabs that thing from heaven, throws it through the hoop, and Tyrese Halliburton says, Reggie, you see me? We just did it. Biggest comeback in the history of basketball. There's actually a stat that, shout out to Between the Numbs, Greg Harvey, the teams were 0 in 1,414 in playoff games when trailing by 9+ points in the final minute of the fourth quarter. Well, this Pacers team, you think to yourself, well, that must have been just some anomaly last night. That must have been some specialty. They would go into overtime, not play their best basketball, and they'd come out of Madison Square Garden with a win, a massive win. Tyrese goes for 31 and 11, double-double, 30+ points. How you doing? Keep it moving. Neesmith goes absolutely unconscious. The boys go bananas in Madison Square Garden. Pascal Siakam, dog, how you doing? Keep it moving. Rick Carlisle, the style of play that they have, maybe, just maybe, start reading the tea leaves. Because you think last night an anomaly. It certainly was. Anytime you're 0 in 1,414, you would think that that is a statistical matter of fact at that point.
Yeah.
I think that is just something that all basketball watchers would say, yeah, that makes sense, especially in the final minute. Then you're playing a free throw game. Gotta make those.
Have to.
Gotta make those. When do you miss those? Well, maybe when you're tired. Maybe whenever you're worn out. Maybe when you're beat up a little bit. Maybe whenever that game that you thought was out of the weeds is all the way back in the dirt, brother. And that's what this Pacers team does. Let's go back to April 29th, shall we? Down 7. How you doing? Keep it moving. Pacers, massive dub, hitting big-time threes. They somehow have the capabilities to do that all the time. Tyrese Halliburton makes insane plays. And correct me if I'm wrong, this right here is the last play that Mr. Halliburton has gotten to see live. Let's get that man back in an arena. He deserves to celebrate with his people, not just in a bar.
Yeah, awesome.
As his boy loses his mind. Now let's go to the Cavs. He can't do it again, could they? Well, this is on May 6th, April 29th, then May 6th. We're down 7 with 48 seconds left. Neesmith. Give me that. Then obviously we remember the Tyrese Halliburton miss on purpose. Gets his own rebound. Go ahead and skates. Step back. We win. You lose. Big ball dance in Cleveland, Ohio. And then in the first game of the Eastern Conference Finals, it happens again. Is it potentially a skill? Is it potentially a trait? Or is it potentially the way they play that at the end of games, teams might be wore out and they take advantage because they're in better shape? With that being said, do I understand what's going on with this Pacers team? It feels like 3 times now, miraculous comebacks late in the game. Is there a reason that that's happening? And is that reason potentially because Carlisle has these boys running? Do other teams potentially get worn out and the Pacers think that they can capitalize when these teams are out? Or what do you think it is about this Indiana Pacer team, Coach?
Well, I'll tell you what, the question I'm asking myself, Pat, is this a team of destiny? You just showed all those plays. They're never out. You can see the belief they have, not only in themselves, but in the collective. And Rick Carlisle, who you've mentioned a few times, won a championship in Dallas, doing an outstanding job of coaching this team, using his bench. When I watched them play last night in Game 1, they are relentless in everything they do. Go back to the very first basket they scored last night. They made the basket. 3 guys picked up full court. They extend their pressure. They're trying to wear Jalen Brunson out. He came back in the game with 5 fouls. They went at him every time. But they're never out of a game because they believe in themselves. And that starts with Rick Carlisle. Tyrese Halliburton is putting that team on his back. And then you mentioned it, Aaron Nesmith last night, 30 points, 8 of 9 from 3. And in the fourth quarter, the Knicks, and I think Tom Thibodeau talked about this after the game, they didn't find Aaron Nesmith. This guy was going nuclear in the Garden, and he hits 3 after 3, 20 points in the fourth quarter. And you talked about it. You're down by 9 points with under a minute to go, and they're able to force overtime and win the game. And I just thought about it afterwards. Is this team destined for greatness because they keep on finding improbable ways of winning games on the biggest stage in the world?
Okay, so on that note, team of destiny and them finding ways and never losing belief or confidence that they can come back and win it, because they've obviously done it now multiple times in the Mecca is what they call it in New York City. That game was awesome.
Incredible.
I mean, that game was a great start to the conference finals for the NBA. Answer, pull away, and then obviously you have the biggest comeback, quickest comeback in the history of the sport. I mean, that is exactly what the NBA envisioned in this entire thing. But whenever you think about this Pacer team, last year they make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Nobody really talks about them, though, because they get swept by the Boston Celtics. Just swept. Then the Olympics happen. Tyrese Halliburton doesn't even play. So he literally doesn't even step foot on the court. So, well, he did, but you get it. Wasn't a part of the team. So there was no conversation about how great the Pacer season was last year, how young of a team they were, how Pascal got traded in mid-season. There was never any chatter nationally or even locally about, hey, that was a hell of a Pacers year. It just kind of got swept away because of how it ended. Do you think having that maturity and having that experience from last year helps them? And what is the direct correlation to having been there before in your eyes as somebody that's been there talking to a team?
Well, experience is the best teacher, right? And you talked about them being there last year and losing to the eventual champion Boston Celtics. I think continuity is really important in this business. You know, obviously the Knicks last year played against Indiana. They were not healthy. They've added Karl Anthony Towns. They've added Mikal Bridges. Where Indiana's got consistency. They've got continuity. You have a coaching staff that's been in place and won at the highest level. So you have to give them a lot of credit in terms of their approach, their belief. They went into Cleveland last round and took games 1 and 2. They're not afraid to go into any arena in the NBA and find a way to win a game. You watch them play and you can feel and sense the belief that they have, and that is a powerful thing. We won a championship in Denver 2 years ago. Our players had that same belief. We felt we could go anywhere and beat anybody, anytime, and that's a powerful thing, and I think Rick Carlisle, coaching staff, and their players continue to show that and illustrate that. So I would agree, Pat. I think having that continuity, having that belief, having been there before, can be a powerful thing as you try to get to the NBA Finals.
Okay, so obviously it looks like the Eastern Conference Finals is going to be electrifying, and I think Tyrese even brought up that shot there from Jalen and that shot from Kat about how they were talking about, do you think your guys' style make other people get tired? You know, especially this late into the season. There's 100 games or whatever people have already played. And Tyrese mentioned, he was like, I don't know. I'm not them, obviously. He said, but Jalen, normally at the end of those games, knocks those shots down. Short, a little bit short. Obviously, it was great defense there. And then Kat gets this, short. It's like, were they tired? Or was it just trying to get it up quick? It's like, I don't know what you could say because you're not that other team. But in a best-of-7 series, with the way this team runs and the way they're bought in, it's like, they're like a hockey team. They're like not scared to, we'll wear you down. Here, we will. You might score, sweet. You're running a gasser then. You're coming back the other way. And it feels like this year they're healthier and more confident than they've ever been. Shout out to the Eastern Conference Finals delivery.